To describe the event in one word, without a swear word, would be inspirational.
My name's Danny Wallace, and I am the Queen Bee. I grew up on the council estates of Preston, and I was furious when I found out that the Queen was born the Queen. So I set about creating the I Am the Queen Bee movement to help more people show up, wise up, and rise up and reclaim their birthright to success. There's this quote that goes, aerodynamically, bees should not be able to fly. Their little wings shouldn't get their fat little bodies off the ground. But bees don't care what humans think is impossible. Bees fly anyway. So I wanted to create a space and a community where we can do what bees do when they're building something new. And that's festoon and link arms and help each other.
Community is really important, knowing that when people are talking about their experiences, it's not just you, you're not alone, there's other people that resonate and there's other people that you can help.
It's just about soaking up the atmosphere and being part of a community that supports each other.
Be Inspired is a 6-month mastermind that culminates in the most incredible personal and business development event where you take to the stage and share your mission and your business message.
It's been amazing. I have never done anything like this. Never ever thought I would, but because of Danny, I have. And I have genuinely loved it.
This is the place to be. It's so inclusive, and actually it's there to help you mentally, physically and emotionally.
There's nowhere else where you'd ever feel so held and so safe.
I would love for you to come and get involved with Be Inspired so we can get you using your superpower hidden in plain sight, your voice, to take up the space you deserve in the world with your mission and your business. I can't wait to hear from you.
And with the swear word, how would you describe it?
I would describe it as inspirational.
Good morning, everybody. I am back from Ideasfest. Oh my goodness, the majority of last week, my bun's on the wonk. I don't know why I am so distracted. I think it's because on StreamYard, you aren't served up a mirror image of yourself. You're actually served up the reverse image of yourself. And so already there's a little bit of dissonance because you're used to seeing yourself in a mirror image, right? So when you say go live or take a selfie or something like that, you served a mirror image of yourself, which is how you see you. However, when you're on StreamYard and you're on the flip, this is actually how the rest of the world sees you, which is just a little bit different. You know, everybody's face has got a little bit of a symmetry to it, all of that sort of stuff. And so when you see things look a little bit out of place, there's already a little bit of dissonance there. Anyway, good morning. I hope you're all feeling good this Monday. I am so excited to be back at my desk, back at work today, after spending the majority of last week either in the car or at Ideasfest. For anybody that isn't aware, Ideasfest is run by the team that bring you the Great British Entrepreneurial Awards, plus loads of other incredible things. But I think that's probably the super duper poop scoop highest profile thing that they do. And the likes of like Lucy and Yak or the likes of Stephen Bartlett have risen through the ranks. I myself have been a finalist in the Great British Entrepreneurial Awards, as have some of you guys. So when earlier this year, back in March time, I'd been recommended to be on their lineup as somebody who could speak either on a panel or present or whatever. It was brilliant to have a conversation with that team and say, hey, do you know what? In broader terms, I'm relatively new on the speaking circuit. I've been speaking for 20 years, 25 years, if we look at the amount of time that I've been on stage for. But I'm relatively new in the speaking space. I like to think of myself as a little bit of a breath of fresh air. It would be really brilliant to be involved in however you would see fit for somebody like me. And the thing is, And I speak to my speakers about this all the time. And part of the reason why, as part of being inspired for the people that are graduates that speak on the stage, we create them speaker assets so that they can prove to bookers that they've got form, that they've stood on a stage, that they can speak, that they've elicited a reaction, they can do pieces to camera, they can create content. All of that sort of stuff is a way that we prove that as speakers we've got form. So it's really great. The more sort of being inspires that we do, the more speaking gigs that I do now that we're not in lockdown anymore, and all of that sort of stuff. I've got lots of things to share with potential bookers and say, hey, do you know what? I've been trusted with this, or, this is my PR, or this is me on stage, or I've got a series of clips that I can show you. It was really, really, really cool to be accepted onto that lineup of phenomenal human beings, really phenomenal human beings. If I look at even just the panel that I was heading up, Abby Adamson of the Diversity Collective, Emma Guy of the Walk Safe app. If I look at Jamie Klingler, who is an international speaker, but also she is part of the movement that created the hashtag Reclaim the Streets. So when Sarah Everard passed away, it was Jamie that was part of that movement that said, we're going to hold a vigil, and the police stopped them from doing so because the police didn't want themselves, didn't want to be seen in a bad light. And that's precisely what kind of it was at the root of all of that conversation. So you think about the people that I'm on the stage with. And then, of course, there's the likes of Nova Reid. There was the likes of Brad Burton. There was the likes of Steve Bartlett, John Stapleton, just a bunch of wonderful, incredible change makers, thought leaders. And then what the desired audience for that room, for that festival, was entrepreneurs, but also people who were really ready to learn, really ready to consider, what does tomorrow look like, and what is your position in tomorrow? What is your stance on tomorrow? What are the things that you're going to do in order to help create a better tomorrow as part of your business? And for me, for those of you that have followed IATQB, for those of you that have followed me over the last sort of 8-9 years, will know it's a bit of me. And of course, as IATQB has grown, as the I Am the Queen Bee movement has grown, and the more speakers that I work with, the more Be Inspired that we do, the stronger the messaging gets. Is that we're not just thinking about, I want to tell my story, I just want to learn how to speak a little bit. It's not about that. It's about, how do you take up space in the world with things that matter? If you know that you can help people, then how do you articulate yourself well enough in order to help people? That's what we work on. What are your game-changing ideas? And even if you don't have game-changing ideas, what are your thoughts, or what can you bring to the table that actually, if somebody grasped a hold of the concept in the way that you deliver it, they would go out and they would change their lives? I know that every single person that I get to work with as part of Be Inspired, whether they know it or not when they sign up, becomes a part of that. Oh my goodness, I didn't realize how big this situation was going to be. I didn't realize how he's brought me a brew again. Thanks, Molly.
You're welcome.
I love you.
I love you too.
I don't know why I go all girly when he comes in. He does nice things for me. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Right. I'm in a train of thought. I'm going to have to ask you to leave. He just stood there looking at me again. I will tell you what he did. So, it's brilliant when I see in the speakers that I work with directly, when they see the potential in themselves, when they start to realize that it's not just about them, when they realize the bigger impact that they can have. And to see them see those stages viscerally, really, to see them see themselves on those stages, for me as a speaker coach, just lights me up. So it was really, really incredible because we took a whole load of our Be Inspired cohort over there. I wanted to show them what a multi-track event looked like in the outside world, sort of off of the online space and into the real world. Because when you say to me, Danny, I want to be a speaker, online's great. Don't get me wrong. You've got incredible reach and you've got incredible potential, but there's something really magical and really special about being in that room. That's why I'm so excited for as many of you that has come in to be inspired, do. For how many, if you can, then you need to clear the 29th and 30th of September out of your diary. You need to make sure you get yourself a ticket and get yourself in that room, because it's going to be so incredible. We've got so many surprises planned for you this time. It's going to be unlike any other Be Inspired we've ever done. We have that whole expo space as well. And part of my job as a producer and as somebody who runs a CIC and somebody who has this incredible business and somebody who runs an event, it's important that as we raise the bar and as we raise the level, that the people that we have involved in terms of like suppliers or expositioners, is that right word? Exhibitionists, exhibitionistas, I don't know. People who are involved with the event itself, from the lineup all the way through to our stalls, that they're curated to help you. And I knew that as part of Ideasfest, there were going to be a lot of fantastic potential partners, exhibitors. Thanks, Pixie. You'd think I'd work in words for me living, but anyway, I'm going to put my makeup on while I talk to you, because I have got a pretty exciting morning planned. I'll tell you all about it in a minute, because here's the thing. I don't want any of you to think, and I think my cohort really realized this when they came along, I don't want any of you to think that being a speaker, like if that's something that you aspire to, that being a speaker is about getting booked, getting paid, turning up, doing your talk and going home. That isn't. If that's what you do, fine, but you're not getting the most out of that speaking experience and you're not doing as much as you can to grow your business. The speaking on the stage bit is only a little tiny part. And if I wanted any of my cohort that came with us to come away with like their key learns, I wanted them, it's better for me to be able to show people what I do at events than it is for me to explain. Like, I teach it as part of the as part of Be Heard and as part of Be Inspired in my speaking courses. Of course I teach it, but I find even better to show people so that they can actually see what I mean when it comes to talking about the things that you need to do. So my cohort, the people that were with me, saw that actually my time on stage was only 35 minutes. And my time on stage was only 35 minutes, and it was shared with 3 other people. There were 4 people on that lineup. So how then do I capitalize on the entire time? How do I stand out? Because not everybody will have seen me on that stage. Like I was very lucky that our tent had lots of lovely people in it. It was our talk, our panel was very, very well attended, which was lovely. But part of my job being at Ideasfest was to go and forge relationships with people who might not have heard of the Fly Anyway Foundation before, who might not have heard of Be Inspired before, people that are far, far out of the online space as, say, maybe you or I know it in this capacity, out of the coaching space, I guess, out of the online service industry space, and into the world, the wider world of business. How do I get those people to know about Danny Wallace, about the I Am the Queen Bee movement, about the Flying Away Foundation, about how they can get involved, how they would definitely want to be involved, how my community can serve them just as much as they can serve my community? So it was my job during the time that we were there to put the word out, to spread the word, to have a look at the lineup of people that were there, of people that were speaking, and go, actually, who would be a great friend? Who could I be a great friend to? Because when you're networking, it's not just about going there to see what you can get out of people. That's not how to build relationships. I mean, for the most part, people can see right through that anyway. But how can you collaborate? How can you lift each other up? What is it within your expertise? And for me, my energy is a huge commodity for people. Like if they can see, as many people do, they can see how passionate I am about something. Well, I say about something, how passionate I am about speaking, how passionate I am about the Flying Away Foundation, how passionate I am about helping people who've experienced domestic abuse plug into business, goods and services, and eventually post-crisis support, and eventually refuge, right? That's where we're going. That's where we're heading with this. And having Be Inspired be a vehicle, a conduit for that. I've got to make sure that whilst I'm there, and there are a lot of movers and shakers, either in the audience or there to support, they need to know who the fuck I am. So how do I do that without being intrusive, right? So I had to make sure that I was standing out, that I was wearing something that was really memorable, that I had prepared my introduction for myself well. And when I talk to all of you, when we do things like the Be Heard boot camp, or when we do free things online, or when I talk to my clients about having a vocal business card, a way of introducing yourself that you know so well and that you make so compelling that it's easy to introduce yourself, having that all in the bag ready to go, that when I meet these movers and shakers, when I meet these interesting people who might know somebody who'll know somebody, I'm ready to go with it all. This is what Kat's saying. Kat Lindsley Hood was there, right there with us, helping, and she was amazing. You literally didn't stop from the moment we arrived until we left 2 days later, having the stands and all the conversations there, plus networking with lots of different people, to being on stage, to making introductions and being seen and noticed by as many people as possible. That was my job. It wasn't just to turn up and speak on stage for 35 minutes and then get the fuck out of there. And I think that the degree of complacency that comes sometimes from people who have been asked to speak at places, I think they're missing a massive trick. And as a speaker coach, it was just as much my job to show my cohort the stage, but it was just as much my job to show them what is involved and how much work is involved when you go to somewhere like that, where it is a huge opportunity. And it was a huge opportunity because there were people in that room that were having stalls, that were speakers, that definitely need to know about the Flying Away Foundation. They definitely need to know about Be Inspired, who I want to exhibit at Be Inspired. And so I ended up having some of the most incredible conversations with the most incredible people. People like TikTok. So I'm holding this up because this here is a QR code. I'm going to pop this in the Hive, by the way. This here is a QR code that gets you access to TikTok's training platform, where you can actually go and learn from TikTok itself with regards to how it wants you. I fell in love a little bit with TikTok. I know some of you were already on the TikTok bandwagon. I know I'm slow to the party, but the interesting thing about TikTok for me was that they want to make themselves accessible. So if you think about Facebook, how do you speak to somebody at Facebook? It's difficult, isn't it? How do you speak to somebody at Instagram? It's almost like this kind of deity, this almost like the powers that be. Whereas TikTok have teams that you can access so that you can get the support that you need if you're growing a business. And so I was talking to one of their business partners. I told you TikTok was underrated. It's just people just need to understand it more. And I think that when it's, especially if you're our age, I'm 38, nearly 39, and we've been served up multiple different platforms, different social media platforms over the years. So I think what that does, it makes us wary of learning new things all the time. Like we just get used to one, and then, oh God, there's another. And, oh God, there's LinkedIn. And oh God, there's Instagram. And I think that we just get so bogged down with what do I need to be using? How do I need to be using it? And then if I use it, I've got to spend all my time creating content. Content creation is pretty huge. Like it does take up a lot of time. You know, it's been one of the first things that I've had to outsource or at least gain assistance with. But TikTok have a whole training platform. So I'm going to pop this QR code, by the way, into the IATQB Hive. If you don't know what the IATQB Hive is, it's my free community group where we share our successes and share our challenges together. That's all it's used for. Share our successes and we share our challenges. And that way we get to help each other show up, rise up and rise up. That's the whole premise of the IATQB Hive. It's not a selling space. It's a, here are the things that I'm celebrating. Here are the things that are challenging me right now. Can anybody help with this? So I'm going to post it in there so you can go and have a look. Sam Barefoot has done a TikTok famous course. She's bloody amazing. She absolutely is. She absolutely is. She's phenomenal. And what Sam can help with is sort of like algorithm hacks, or with, you know, how to be intelligent about content and all of that. Sam Barefoot is actually really great at understanding very early, when most of us don't, new platforms. That's, you know, that's her MO, is that she was an early adopter of Twitter, created an incredible Twitter following, early adopter of Instagram, got an incredible Instagram following. So she's brilliant at that. And the reason I want to share this directly from TikTok is TikTok is sharing with you how they want you to use it so that you can get the best out of it, particularly in this instance for business owners. So I wanted to share that with you because that's another conversation that we're going to be having. IATQB and the Flying Away Foundation are going to be working lots more closely, directly with TikTok. That was an opportunity that we got to have whilst we were there. And fingers crossed, at Be Inspired, we're intending on having a TikTok presence there with TikTok, so that you can go and learn directly with them. And then when you kind of get out into the world, there are loads of fantastic experts out there like Sam Barefoot, who you can go and do that further learning with, that further accountability, that further coaching with. But I think it's important that we have these direct affiliations with these platforms if we're able. I just want to take it to that next level with you all. We had some incredible conversations with the likes of Vodafone, for example. So Vodafone found out about what it is that we're doing with the Flying Away Foundation, and actually came over to find us and said, we want to work out how we can work, how we can support your business builders. Let us tell you a bit more about V-Hub, which is a hub that they've created for people who are building businesses. So all of a sudden, we've got these brilliant conversations and relationships that are forming that are going to directly impact you guys and directly impact our business builders. And that was my job. Yes, it was going there to speak, and I smashed it like I proper killed it. And hopefully that's going to develop into further relationships with that particular festival. Keep your fingers crossed. But for me, it was an incredible opportunity to start to showcase Danny Wallace, the Flying Away Foundation, the people associated with Danny Wallace and the Flying Away Foundation. That was really cool to be able to share that everybody that comes along with us, I will try and introduce you to people. So there were stall holders that were in the sustainability field. So then I'm thinking, right, who in the Hive would be a great connection? Well, I know Catherine Ann Byam has a podcast where ideas, I'll shoot myself in the foot now, where ideas launch, is centered around sustainable business leaders and thought leaders. So it's great to have found these business leaders and thought leaders that are specific in the sustainable area, that I can then say, oh, you need to speak to Catherine Ann Byam. She's got an incredible podcast. You should definitely get on there and be interviewed. So then I've already created a relationship. That's going to save Kathy some time. I can say, hey, Kathy, where ideas launch. Kathy, I met this person, this person, this person. If you tell them that I sent you, they will be like more likely, I guess, than all of the other podcast requests that they'll have. They'll be more likely to respond to yours because we already have a relationship. And this is what I want for you. This is what we're creating with Be Inspired now, specifically now that we have this expo area. So we have got some global brands now that are exhibiting, which is just insane. Like globally world-renowned brands have heard about what we're doing at the Flying Away Foundation and at Be Inspired. And they're like, how can we be there? How can we get involved? We had I cannot wait to bring you some incredible guests to the show at Rise Up Show to share with you some of the stories that these entrepreneurs have. Alex Hughes, for example, from Curious Entrepreneurs. We're going to find some ways to partner. Chris Kenner from Brand Advance. We're having conversations as soon as possible with regards to how we can work together. And it's by going to these events intentionally that you, as a speaker or not a speaker, can still do phenomenal work. So there was a fantastic young woman called Emily who was there on her own. And we came across her as we were setting up on the Wednesday morning. And she says, she's like, I'm here on my own. I have a digital marketing agency. It's called Two Shoes. In fact, let me tell you, we'll post her in the Hive because I think she's predominantly over on Instagram. But Emily, hang on one sec. Let me find her. Excuse me one sec. Two Shoes Creative. Over on Instagram, but she does branding, web design, consulting, training, and she's just delicious. A really lovely, really lovely woman. Came to this thing on her own, and then ended up hanging out with us. And because we were there as a group, and we'll definitely go next year as a collective, we'll definitely do an IATQB. We will swarm Ideasfest. People knew who we were by how kind we were, how fun we were, how intelligent we were, what we were bringing to the table. I'd already prepared the speaker squad by saying, look down the list of people who are there, who are exhibiting, look down the list of people who are speaking, go and make or go and choose the talks that you want to go and get amongst and go and ask questions there. So we were already making a bit of a presence. And people were commenting, oh, are you with the Fly Anyway Foundation? Or are you the Chufty Girls? Or what have you? And as a result, we ended up making some fantastic connections. We became the opposite of guilty by association. We became awesome by association. Wooker, so Wooker Period Wear, the phenomenal Ruby, who's the CEO of Wooker, we met. It was phenomenal. It was phenomenal, and I cannot wait. She's coming to be inspired, and she's on the Creative SaaS table, a newbie. So what did we achieve by going to Ideasfest? One, we extended our reach. So we found more people to come to our event. So people bought tickets to be inspired whilst we were there, and that's fine. Where's my mascara? Hang on a minute. We've got a mascara issue. No, we don't. It's here. We made relationships that may only start small now, but have incredible potential. We found people who believed in us that want to invest their time and their energy in us. We found people who wanted to exhibit with us. So us taking those 2 days out and being intentional about learning and being intentional about relationship making has actually yielded for all of us more impact, more influence, and essentially more income when it comes to things like, I don't know, whatever it is that you guys do. So if someone needs a creative fairy godmother, they're going to go and hook up with our Jojo Smith, who, is making waves and was making waves in her own right. So not coming attached to IATQB, even though she was there and she's one of our best friends and she's our creative director for our events. Jojo Smith made a point of standing out for Stephen Bartlett, who now remembers consistently who she is for all of the right reasons, but she's placed a little bet with him that she's going to do the work that is required so that he's interviewing her on Diary of a CEO. And he's like, I have no doubt that you're going to do it. But he remembered her from the stage. Like, we were sat sort of in the VIP bit, and Jojo just shouted at him and made herself so memorable that he saw her from the stage. Where it's you. That is the beauty of going to in-person events. Because growing online is fine, and we will know each other, right? How many of us know each other in the online space? How many of us kind of know of each other? I see all you names and people that pop up on this regularly and people who converse with me all the time. But imagine getting into the room and see, like, going there and say, I don't know, I'll pick somebody that I know, and then it's not weird. But Jojo Smith was to go, hey, Danny, and I'll go, it's you. We can move those in, like, online interactions into real life and harden them and fasten them and have those downtime conversations over a brew or a glass of wine or whatever it is that tickles your pickle, over a dance in a marquee. And one of the things that I secured for us for our after drinks on day one is a phenomenal musician. So we've got entertainment at our networking drinks on day one, and we've got the incredible Shiggy Paktar, who's going to be DJing for us on day two. So we're providing you with those brilliant downtime spaces for you to go and further those conversations. So you're going to get in that room, you're going to learn from all of these brilliant speakers. That's what you're going to do in the first instance. And then what we're going to do is we're going to provide you with spaces in the safety of Be Inspired to enjoy yourself, but have those downtime, the in-between moments, the conversations that you have in the loo, the conversations that you have over a brew in the morning when you're nervous. Like Emily, when Emily came over as we were setting up and we was like, are you on your own? Hang out with us, babe. Ended up, we now know a fantastic brand and web creator. We now have somebody that's coming along to Be Inspired. She now has an army of support around her. Getting to these events is important if you're able, right? And there are two that are coming up that I would implore you to check out. One is Will Manifest on the 17th and 18th of September. And two is definitely Be Inspired. Please get your ticket to Be Inspired. Not because I'm begging you, it's because we're already almost sold out. We've only got 8 tables left, and then that's us done anyway. So we're already in a full room. But I want you there. I want you to be able to experience that. I want you to be able to experience an opportunity to build intentionally those relationships that are going to further your impact, your influence, your income. And they do every single time. And one of the things that we did whilst we were there was exhibit. I was placed with an opportunity to exhibit the Flying Away Foundation. So you bet your butt we turned up. You bet your butt we turned up. And what that allowed us to do was have an anchor, a place to have conversations. So it wasn't like, oh, I'll catch you later. It was somewhere where the team, like our squad, could go, hey, you want to see Danny? Oh, gosh, she's amazing. She'll be over here in a little bit. Come back when she's here and have a conversation. It allowed us to not only raise, I think we raised about £500, something like that, for the Flying Away Foundation over the 2 days, plus conversations around Gold Ambassadors and what have you, and donations and fundraising and stuff. But it wasn't really about selling the things on the day. It was having a visual presence where people could refer directly back to immediately and go, there's the Flying Away Foundation stand. Oh, it's incredible work that they do. And we were not giving some of these out, but these were $4.99, because actually you get a Chufty badge when you make a donation. That's the premise, that you donate $4.99 to the Flying Away Foundation, and we give you a Chufty badge. You don't buy a Chufty badge. And that's just a gift that we give you because you've donated. And these were real talking points. Oh, what's a Chufty badge? Oh, well, it's our version of a gold star. Like, our founder is from Preston, and that's something that they used to say. Oh, what do you want, a Chufty badge? What do you want, a gold medal? And it's funny, it's a conversation starter. Oh, so what does that mean? Well, if you get one of these, it means that you've done something really kind, really nice. It means you've donated to the Flying Away Foundation. I want to recognize you for that by giving you a Chufty badge, and you can wear your Chufty badge with pride. So having that as a recognizable way of being attached to us throughout the festival. So you see loads of people that were wearing Chufty badges, and they were talking about them. So I want you to consider that as a business, that speaking is not just about turning up and doing your half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours, and then getting the fuck out of there. It's allowing yourself to be working the room. That if you have assets, like many of you have got books, or many of you have got other things that you can either sell or speak on, or even if it's like one of them kissing booths where you're just there with a pop-up gathering people's information to get them onto your email list to have a conversation about what it is that you do, then for God's sake, do it. For God's sake, do it if you have an opportunity. I have an opportunity at 12 o'clock today. I'm going to be heading over to the docks to go and speak to my friends at the Shout Network, who run the Northwest's largest business expos. Like, they are huge. They're in conjunction with all of the sort of the power, all of the power networks that are here, Chamber of Commerce, for example, what have you. And what they do is they put on the biggest business expo. And you bet your butt I'm there. But I'm going to be pitching to them about partnering with them for the Fly Anyway Foundation. And that's come off of networking. That's come off allowing myself to turn up into the room in a noticeable and recognizable way. Now, it's not for everyone. I turned up in a bee suit to the last one. But today I'm going like this, right? Today I'm just being Danny Wallace, but they already know who I am. I don't have to make a huge, huge impression with regards to like what I'm wearing. I'm already known for like the headscarf thing. But by allowing myself to stand out, and by you allowing yourself to stand out, be instantly recognizable. I come back to this. I wrote about in my book, I Am the Queen Bee, that one of the best pieces of advice I ever got as not just a speaker, but as a business owner is be instantly recognizable. And you don't have to be silly to do that. You don't have to show up in a bee suit to do that. You know, over the course of the 2 days, I went from bright sunflowery dungarees to, you know, very understated. It was a festival. I was wearing dungarees, to some understated like gold situation, but I was still instantly recognizable. Having the Chufty badge, instantly recognizable. Having the headscarf, instantly recognizable. And I just wonder for you, and again, I talk about it in Closed Mouths Don't Get Fed, which is my little book of speaking. I talk about being instantly recognizable. What can you do? Is it wearing some sort of uniform? Is it? And the question might not be no. The answer might not be no. It might not be. Brad Burton's a perfect example of someone who essentially wears uniform. So when he turns up to speak, or he turns up anywhere, for instance, for that matter, he will wear a black T-shirt that will have his emblem on the chest and on the arm. Now, it's not in your face. He'll also wear a pair of jeans and a pair of Adidas. Is it Adidas All Stars? It's very specific. Like, he gets the same trainers all the time. He's instantly recognizable. Everybody knows it's Brad Burton when Brad Burton arrives. Everybody knows it's Danny Wallace when Danny Wallace arrives. Everybody knows the kind of energy they need to expect from me now. And the kind of energy that they'll expect is a really warm welcome. I'm going to ask people how they're doing in the first instance. I'm going to be desperately interested in what they're doing. I'm going to be listening to them right from the get-go. And then they're going to ask me what I do. And then I'm really prepared to tell them. And they're already there. We've already made a connection and they're interested. I didn't realize, I love this, Amy. I didn't realize how well I was known within the Hive community until being inspired. But I've learned I'm the Amy Blaney. Yes, absolutely. People know me for purple. Yes, they do, Sarah. Jojo Smith has no idea what we mean. Jojo Smith does this as well as me. Like, we turn up together and we're like little pink and yellow beacons of deliciousness. Pixie, my hair is instantly recognizable. That means I can't ever go normal. You can, by the way, you can decide what a new normal looks like for you. So years ago, and in fact, I've experienced this just this week. Years ago, I was known, particularly on the singing circuit, for wearing sort of 50s style dresses. So I would wear the, you know what I mean, like the 50s style swing dresses, and the headscarves were a thing. And I'd always have victory rolls in, and I'd have the thick kind of horn rim type glasses going on. And I was instantly recognizable as a singer within that. Like, I looked like Danny Wallace. That's what I looked like. But that's now shifted and changed. I don't wear the 50s stuff anymore. It doesn't really feel me. It just felt like a bit of a caricature of me. Whereas now, this is a much more settled version. I don't have to slip into a caricature of myself. It's just an amplified version of myself, which is a little bit different. But whether you find me on an up day or a down day, you'll still recognize me as Danny Wallace in the things that I wear. And it's just an interesting thing, I guess, that for me to throw out onto the table for you all is, what is that for you? How can you show up places and be instantly recognizable? And you don't have to do that through uniform or by a particular color, for example. Somebody else who does this really beautifully is Elizabeth McQuillan. And she's just incredibly well turned out. So that's not I think there's always a dash of pink going on because of Flamingo, which is her brand for car finance. Go and check her out, by the way. She's phenomenal. There's always a little dash of pink, like hot pink going on there because they're her brand colors, but she's always incredibly well turned out. And I just wonder, what is the instantly recognizable for you? How can you be instantly recognizable so that are you so aligned within your brand that you are instantly recognizable? That I don't necessarily have to wear black or yellow for me to be instantly recognizable as Danny Wallace. Anyway, so there's some of my thoughts. Lots of things to look forward to. I'm just trying to think, is there anything I'm allowed to tell you in the moment? I don't think there is. There's some things that I've had to sign some NDAs for. But what I will say is, if you want to exhibit at Be Inspired and be that person, you need to get into my DMs today. That's what you need to do. It's £300 plus VAT for 1 day. It's £500 plus VAT for 2 days. It's an absolute steal. You are guaranteed traffic. You are guaranteed shout outs. You'll be in our program as well. The people that are there will need you. I've got no doubt. Whether you're a product-based business or service-based business, whether you're an accountant, a solicitor, whatever, whether you are a brand, an author, whatever it is, having that brand presence in a room like Be Inspired is real prime real estate. And also, I'll do some training with you in the run up to help you make the most of having that as something that I definitely know how to do. So not only you exhibiting is going to be incredible for you, you'll feature in our photos, you'll feature in our videos, all of that sort of stuff. But I'm going to teach you how to get the most out of it so that you can utilize that influence and impact into your bottom line, into your lead generation situation. All right, my darlings. And so this concludes our Show Up, Wise Up, Rise Up show for this Monday, which only leaves me to ask you, what are your intentions for this week? So for me is to sign the T's, cross the T's, dot the I's on our headline sponsors, is to sell out our final, there's 8 tables of 64 tickets and then we're sold out. That's it. We are done. So make sure you are quick off the mark. If you don't have your ticket to Be Inspired, it's on the 29th and 30th of September. It includes all of your swag. It includes refreshments. It includes your lunch. It also includes your after party and your post event networking drinks with phenomenal entertainment by George Alfie on day 1 and by Shiggy Pakhtar on day 2. For anybody who was at Ideasfest, we all fell in love with gorgeous George, who is a client of the phenomenal Lucy Dixon from House of Lemon. He was brilliant and he is brilliant. So he's going to be entertaining us on night 1. So this includes all of the talks. Like, the talks are almost the icing on the cake at this point. All of the talks, all of the lunch and the refreshments, all of your after networking, your entertainment, the expo for £197 plus VAT. Stop it. Stop what you're doing. Go to imthequeenbee.co.uk. Go and get yourself a ticket at the very least. If you want to exhibit, get in my DMs today, the Queen Bee Danny or Danny Wallace profile, or bookings at imthequeenbee.co.uk. That's bookings at imthequeenbee.co.uk. There are only 22 expo spaces, and I think we are now at halfway. So there's only 11 left, and then we don't have any spaces left, and we've not done any real outreach yet. So please, please, please make sure that you get your space and make sure you're in the room where it happens. Right, loves, have a cracking day. Have a cracking week. We're still doing it. We're still here. We're still surviving the summer holidays together. I will see you on Wednesday for more Showing Up, Wising Up, Rising Up if I don't see you before then. In the meantime, take care. Go rip it up. Go do the things. Income generating activity. Go and be visible. I am here for all of it. Right, loves. See you later. Bye.